There's often nothing more telling of the demographic crisis that Georgia is going through than walking through a city off peak in, when there's no tourism. And this has devastating impacts on the future reliability of Georgian investments. Of course, when I lived here, I lived in probably one of the most demographically challenged areas of Georgia, which many of the Georgians that will watch this will know exactly what I'm talking about. However, that is the city of Georgia. And Georgia was, for all intents and purposes, one of the largest cities under the Georgian SSR. I'm currently here in Borjomi looking for ideals off-peak because I don't believe in investing in an economy or in a country if you would not make returns off-peak. And it's very clear to me that I am the only American within this city right now. I am the only, potentially I'm the only foreigner in this city right now. And of course, this isn't to say that Borjomi is, dead in the water or whatever else. However, spending time here, I'm presently walking, around the city. You see a lot less people. And of course, this is to be expected. Since 2014 to today, you get what is, in essence, a very sharp demographic decline. Around 1,000 Georgians have left Borjomi since 2014, as of the last census, which was in 2024. And these 1,000 people, that may not sound like a lot to someone in Asia or even the United States. Obviously, we have a lot of people coming and going all the time. But when the population of your entire municipality, which Borjomi, of course, is a municipality, is only around 25,000 as of 2014, and it's now 24,000, it stands to reason that there is something more sinister going on. Now, of course, Georgia has never been a place where demographics have been strong. Throughout most of its history, it's been plagued with war. It's been plagued with people trying to upkeep themselves in a state of near constant readiness for the next war. And of course, 2008, 1993, I could go on and on and on about the wars that happened. And this has realistically kept them from becoming what they could become. And living amongst these people, you realize they're not dumb, and they really could have a strong future ahead of them. However, when you look at the demographics, it shows that people truly have a different mindset, and they want to leave. They want to go to the European Union. They want to go to the United States. And many of them, when they get the money to do so, just do it. They get the green cards. They get the, student visa. They get the work permit. And they just go. And as someone who decided to live here for quite some time and who spent time across the Caucasus region, you realize that demographic decline is only exacerbated by the increased political issues, the lacking social support for basic needs. Oftentimes I hear Americans complain about what is realistically a lacking social support system. And I will say that on a federal level, sort of true. But on a local or state level, that is not the case. But then, when your pension, which Georgians do get pensions, when your pension is 12 Lari a month because you did most of your work during Soviet era times when pensions realistically weren't that large. That becomes what is, in essence, a very strong force to motivate you, to motivate your kids to leave. And as someone who has spent time here, of course, being, someone who speaks Georgian and really, is understanding of what Georgians think, you kind of get a feeling, right, of hopelessness, large amounts of issues, right, with everything going on day to day. And this is funny because it's contrasting with the narrative that Georgians themselves put out, which I'll put, a video up on how nationalism is destroying Georgia in a lot of ways. But what I find interesting when I look at the demographics is that, first of all, the opportunity is unequal. What one person can do is not what another person can. And especially amongst gender lines. So, for instance, if you are a female, you have less opportunity to immigrate than a male. And this has to do partially with the social cohesion amongst men that doesn't exist amongst women, because women are supposed to, if they're a mother, whatever, they do invariably choose to send their sons abroad, or if you're a sister, whatever else, due to the thought that, of course, men are the breadwinners and men deserve work, whereas women, are more traditionally balanced by being involved in housework and being involved in raising children. And so when I look at the totality of a city like Borjomi, where the demographics have gotten significantly worse over the past few years and decades, I look towards the opportunities here and I see less and less. And of course, tourism will always be something that Georgia has, that Georgia utilizes. However, even that is falling off a cliff. So, with that said, if you appreciate my reporting on what exactly is happening here in Georgia and other countries as well, I would appreciate a like. If you are looking to join me on this journey of internationalization and globalization, I would appreciate a subscription. If you are looking to get a one-pager for the topics I'm speaking on, and you're looking for this jurisdiction, feel free to look down in the description below. Of course, I am doing one-on-one consulting for a brief period still, so if you want, you can look in the description down below on one-on-one consulting. This has been a traveling report, signing off.